Hey, how's it going guys? I'm Ryuz and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. It has really been a while since the last tier list video, but here we are. There's a total of 130 Shikigami currently in the game and I will be rating them one by one. We are going to rate them based on how strong they are by themselves, how well they work with other Shikigami, and I'm also noting how often they see play in the meta environment. I don't want the video to get too long, so let's start right away. First up, we have Shokude. Shokude's basic ability is actually pretty freaking strong if you get to cook every turn. But he can't cook every turn. He only have the level 2 fast cooking card with rebound and the level 1 form that cooks if he is in the combat zone. Yes, his SSR is good to increase the pace of cooking Shikigami, but that is too slow. So I will put him in niche for now. Next is Gomaru. Gomaru has the same problem as Shokude. Yes, she can deal a whole lot of damage with her SSR and her combat cards, but her combat cards are too centered around the SSR, and that feels not worth running unless you have the SSR. And setting her up is actually quite the struggle because her SSR form only has 5 health and that's very easy to snipe. She has higher burst potential than Shokude, so we put her above Shokude. Next is Hoshiguma Doji. He got released along with the cooking Shikigami, which was weird. His cards are very solid and synergize very well with his abilities, but when you are running a fragile aggro team, you don't care about debuffing your opponent, giving them minus rally or other stuff. You just want to hit hard and get the job done, go home. His normal spells are great, but his level 1 and level 2 forms are really hard to use unless you are going against aggro, because if they don't use them combat card, it becomes pretty much a dead card. But because Chin got murdered by the card adjustment a few weeks ago, I think we'll be seeing him more often, so I'll put him in It's Alright. Usagi, cooking, bad cooking, fragile debuff, too slow. His level 3 form is a bit spicy meme though, but still garbage. Then we have Amezaigo. Amezaigo is literally carrying the cooking Shikigami by himself because he's the only one that has a form that can cook each turn. And his card is plenty strong even if you don't use him for cooking Shikigami. It's good that he's a cooking Shikigami because if he's generic he would be busted. Being able to revive a Shikigami every turn while also giving them very easy buff. Yeah, no, I'm good with him staying in the cooking Shikigami. Maybe I'll put him on the bottom of It's Alright. Next Shikigami is Tanuki. Tanuki is very slow and takes up so many orbs just to set him up right. But his level 3 burst is actually good. He can auto-attack dealing 7 to 10 damage every turn, give AoE 3 damage or 6 to stun Shikigami, and he is supported by the stun Shikigami, which is arguably more consistent than the cooking Shikigami. But it doesn't change that he is very difficult to use and you would rather use other stun Shikigami than him. So I will put him in niche. Next is Senhime, my wife. She is a godsend for control deck. She fixes the problem to all control decks, that is not having a blocker. She can summon a blocker every turn while also doing other stuff like pushing damage or stun the opponent. I've seen her a lot in the previous pack, but since the new meta is moving back to more aggro, I've seen less of her. But I will put her in consistently strong because she has some really solid cards. Next Shikigami is Suzuhiko Hime. Suzuhime is the same case as Senhime, but she is made for those aggro board wipe deck, and she can even heal you. After evolving, her damage output gets even higher, and if you can heal her consistently, she is a tough one to get rid of. I will be putting her in the same place as Senhime. Now we got Yasha. Yasha arguably has the spiciest combat card in the game, especially the reusable plunder card. But he cannot generate his own Nightfall unless you are forcing him to use his own combat cards, which is not ideal. And I'm very disappointed on his evolve because he didn't get a permanent first move. Freaking Takayasha Hime from 10 packs ago got permanent one. Why can't Yasha get a permanent one? If the Nightfall Shikigami weren't as good, I would put him in niche, but thankfully Nightfall is still strong, so I will put him in It's Alright. Then we have Itanmomen. Everyone was splashing Itanmomen almost everywhere because of her snow weaving being able to revive instantly, even when she is defeated. But after they nerfed her, she was just alright. She is used mainly for stalling and for consistency for Nightfall Shikigami because of her quiet chatter. Her basic ability only triggers after Nightfall 5, which is quite steep if you can't build your own Nightfall points consistently, but she does find her place outside of Nightfall Shikigami in stun deck, just for her level 3 combat card. I will put her above Yasha because of her splash ability. Next is Hangan, our boy from the good old days. I mean, we still see him from time to time. I think nowadays the only time I've seen him do major work is when fighting against a Shikigami that use a lot of low stat summons and you already evolve him. That's about it. He's been power crept by other Shikigami basically, so I will put him in niche. Then we have Kubinashi. Kubinashi definitely saw more play than Yasha and he was a menace in aggro deck just because his field alone can generate a lot of Nightfall as long as you can attack. But it got nerfed, so he immediately vanished and we'll just land him in It's Alright. Now Momiji is the rich guy version of Kubinashi but slower. Her cards are way more expensive than Kubinashi, but you can generate Nightfall easier compared to Kubinashi because her Territory Bozu has Nightfall 10 limit, so if the opponent got 4 Territory Bozu, you are going to gain 4 at the end of your opponent's turn. The downside to her is that she is slower and relies heavily on her SSR form. The alternative is her Evolve that can generate Nightfall every end phase while also nuking 10 damage. I will put her in the same tier as Kubinashi. Then we have Ushinotoki. She is just evil. All of her summons are annoying no matter what you say. She can carry herself up to Nightfall 7 consistently using her own form, and even if you don't get the forms, you can just summon her Waraningyo and she will also get Nightfall. I would definitely put her at the bottom of consistently strong. Next is Russet Sparrow. He is arguably one of the best tanker in the game along with Odokuro. This is what Samurai X was aiming for but failed. Russet Sparrow has consistent shield gain, decent stats, and a revive card with heal with annoying forms and a very annoying field. Even if you don't put him in Nightfall exclusive deck, he can still work pretty well. I will put him above Ushi just because how strong his field is. Then we have Kinara. Same reason as Ushi, she has consistent Nightfall gain, really great snipe cards, instant kill cards, and great SSR to extend her play. Her level 1 form got nerfed into once per turn, but that doesn't stop her from using the draw form to gain Nightfall. She is overall a very solid Shikigami. She can even fit in a weird luck check deck because of her luck check requirement get lower every Nightfall. But I don't think she is stronger than Ushi or Sparrow, but she definitely fits more into Nightfall, so I'll put her below Ushi and Sparrow. Next, we are jumping into the Charge Shikigami. Not Charge, but Charge, or Charge Force. Confusing keyword by the way, they should change that. Tarkaji is one of the best hybrid Shikigami I've seen. He pretty much got everything. He has draw, barrier, piercing, and a really tanky mid-game form. And he also have a late-game burst combat card that is very strong. Even if they nerf his SSR, that form still has high stats and it makes your cards gain fast. Definitely deserves a spot in consistently strong. Now, for Wuchen, I didn't get to experiment a lot with him just because you need to sequence his card in a very certain way to deal huge damage, and he's a very piece reliant Shikigami. And by that comment alone, you would think, oh, he is an easy, it's alright then. Not exactly. His saving grace is that he has a really powerful form. His level 2 form allows you to pretty much keep him alive forever, unless the opponent is willing to waste 2 orbs just to get rid of it. And his level 3 form is just plain powerful even if they nerfed it. I would put him above Tarkaji just for his buff potential. As for Viper Ning, however, this is where the Charge Shikigami kind of fell short. She has a lot of damaging cards, but they only deal 3 damage at base and +1 on charge. That's just not gonna cut it. If I have to wait another turn for the bonus effect, I would want a 4 damage as a damage base, and her kit is almost mixed with stun for some reason. Her fast stun is good, but her SSR is just whatever. The saving grace for her is her Phoenix Blast form. This shit is so powerful. You can deal a clean 8 damage just by sacrificing your assault, and even if the opponent has a blocker, I doubt they would survive an 8 damage. I would put her on top of It's Alright because she sometimes see play in stun deck. Oh, Kurumi, you made Field an absolute menace for one pack. Her fields are powerful, her forms are powerful, hell, her basic ability is super good, and her SSR is still good even after the nerf. She deserves a place in plain strong, no argument there. Her field supports so many Shigami. Then we have Manidake. Manidake was alright. He was scary in the charge focus build early, especially his first move card. His evolve also fixes any hand minus if you play charge cards, but that's it. That's all he does. Sure, he can trigger the charge effect of your other Shigami, but that's about it. He can't fit in other teams because his kit is very focused to charge. I would put him in niche, sadly. Next is Aobozu. Yeah, I don't think I need to say anymore. It's been 9 sets since NMCB came out and Bozu team is still going strong. Even on his own, his card is still pretty solid. Then we have Arakawa, cool design voiced by none other than Takehito Koyasu. He's a good addition to any deck that uses a lot of cards like Awandon, but overall, he is just okay. Not mind-blowing, his evolve is very annoying though, I will give him that. I don't want to put him in consistently strong because Senhime is miles better than him. So I will put him just above Viperning. Then we have Mio. Mio is a very interesting Shigami that puts her gimmick focusing on solely level 1 card, and level 1 card only. That might look like a very restrictive condition, but there is a lot of Shigami that has stupidly powerful level 1 card. The only downside to using Mio is that you run out of hands very quick, unless you are willing to burn cards for her shape shifting. She definitely see more play than Arakawa, so I will put her above him. As for Juzu, even after the nerf, she is still going very strong. They nerf her mid-game cards but buff her late game. Her SSR is just scary. She is almost unkillable because of her high health in late game. She is strong, but you need to stall until late game to make her shine, unless you high roll both the Evolve and Holy Staff. She can definitely carry her own weight and is very scary early game if you can spam her Holy Staff, and her late gameplay is even scarier because she can spam her level 3 form and revive continuously. So I will put her in consistently strong. By the way, I did not sort this list. The tier maker just randomized all of this even though I already numbered each of them according to their release date. So now we suddenly jump to the new spec with Baize. I think on her own Baize is a fairly balanced Shigami. None of her cards are obscenely strong on their own, but the one that makes her actually scary is Todoroki Evolve Projectile. If I had to say one good thing about her is that her passive works even if she is not live, and she is very consistent. So for now, I will put her in consistently strong just above Kinara. Next is Chocho. Now this one is plain strong, without a single doubt. All of her cards are powerful and have good effects. Her passive is also really strong. Chocho is a no-brainer top tier Shigami. I would put her above Aobozu and Kurumi for now, unless they nerf her. Then we have Mami Jorogumo. I'm getting mixed feeling about her. On paper she is strong, but from the matches that I use her, she is just alright. Her passive is good, but it's being a unique type really slows her down. If her passive worked like Kodokushi, I would definitely rank her higher, but for now she belongs in it's alright. Then we have Sparrow, or Ichijo. I never get why they name him Sparrow. We already have one Sparrow before this one. I think he's a pretty interesting addition to the new Shigami. I really like his gimmick, but sometimes he does feel a bit clunky because you really need to focus on stacking diligent practice to be able to deal decent damage. But thankfully his form really supports that gimmick and makes it easy to splash him in any aggro decks. I think I will put him in consistently strong because his cards are very solid. Then we have Garuda. Garuda is an interesting countdown Shigami. Instead of immediately triggering an effect, he will just gain 2 keywords, and those 2 keywords are Haste and Soaring. Literally the perfect combination for any aggro-focused Shigami. And with his Evolve and level 1 form, he can also be a better version of Kanko. His other cards are really powerful too, but his low base attack does lower his score a bit. I would definitely put him between Suzukime and the Charged Shigami. And now for Bakekujira. Personally, I haven't had much time to try him out, but from what I've seen, his SSR is pretty nuts, but you have to evolve him first and attach the shells to him. The rest of his cards are pretty meh, in my opinion. It doesn't really give you immediate advantage. You still have to use your assault for it to take effect. So I'm afraid I would have to put him in niched. Then we have a small girl and big scary protector is one of my favorite character combination. So far I have been enjoying using Kagewani. She is basically the better version of Otakemaru. The only complaint I have with Kagewani is that her invocation doesn't have a fast keywords and you only have two ways if you want to attach them to other Shikigami. That is to let Kagewani dies or use ambush. Oh, maybe level 3 form too, but nobody uses that. I'm putting her in it's alright. I'm not sure if she's better than the Nightfall Shikigami. I'll put her in the middle. Next is Awanon. Awanon has always been used ever since her release. I think that speaks for itself. Awanon is a really good Shikigami to boost consistency, help out orb heavier deck, and even speed up your pace by leveling up before the opponent does. So she definitely deserves top spot. I will put her above Onmyoji. Now we have Kengaku. Kengaku is a weird Shikigami. He's a field Shikigami that doesn't want to keep his fields, so that makes him difficult to fit in a field focus deck. His evolve is pretty good though, letting you grab a random field from your deck. But his field not having a continuous effect is definitely a big minus point. I will put him in niche. Oh boy, this freaking frog. Jikikairu sucks. The reason I say he sucks is because now we have better luck Shikigami that does so much more things than him, and his SSR is just repeating the luck check that you did. He's bad and I don't like him, so to the trash he goes. I'll just rate Kyohime and Shizuka Gozen at the same time because they are pretty much a package Shikigami. Kyohime by herself is pretty strong, letting you deal 4 damage targeting in level 1 and does even more damage on level 2 onwards. She also has a lot of AoE fragile card that makes her really good paired up with Shizuka Gozen. And as for Shizuka Gozen, no matter what meta we are in, fragile aggro deck will always find a way to update their builds, and those builds Shizuka Gozen and Kyohime is pretty much the staple. And Shizuka Gozen is the only Shikigami that can consistently close out the game at the start of level 3 because her Righteous Justice does so much damage. So I think I will put Kyohime in consistently strong and Shizuka Gozen in plain strong just because her SSR is amazing. Then we have Inugami. Inugami is an old Shikigami. He's been our friend since the beginning, but the power creep is getting to him. Sure, he still sees play here and there mainly because he has a 535 card and a +4 attack combat card. He's a very balanced Shikigami that just got power creeped by everything. I won't put him in trash because he is still better than Jikikairu, but I will put him at the bottom of niche. Yamawaro is a weird one. On paper, having a permanent piercing keyword is amazing, but his low health means that he is really fragile. Most of the time you will only get 1 to 2 hits with him and he will die. Nowadays I would only see him in Orochi builds to clear out the combat zone, so I would put him in the same place as Inugami. Next is the cutest Shikigami in the game, Yamausagi. The only Shikigami that said, yep, I win, after you luck check 10 times. She has SSR that just says that you get to roll 6 every time you luck check, and an instant win card. But as powerful as she is still a luck Shikigami, so I cannot put her at the very top, but I can put her in at the very bottom of consistently strong. Next is Bukuman. You know, for the longest time, I thought Bukuman was such an awkward name, so I looked up what they call him in the JP server, and he is called Shoyo, which is much easier to say than Bukuman. Anyway, he's another Shikigami that provides an alternate win condition. He lets you deal 10 damage straight to the opponent's life every time you try to draw from your empty deck. As scary as it sounds, it is pretty difficult to stall until you deck out because the opponent will find a way to kill you first or kill Bukuman just before you can evolve him. But as a consistency booster, he is pretty good, so I will put him in it's alright. Again, I will rate Momo and Sakura at the same time because they do very similar things. Momo is a healer that also buffs your Shikigami stats. She has an instant revive card that gives haste, and her SSR is a revive all card, while Sakura on the other hand is a hybrid between a healer and assault type Shikigami with her evolve and SSR. Her evolve basically let you increase the death countdown of your opponent's Shikigami, and her SSR is full of useful keywords. But between the two of them, Momo sees more play because her kit is more flexible, while Sakura is very reliant on her forms, and you have to evolve her first to get that countdown increase effect. I will put Momo in It's Alright and Sakura in Niche. Next is Hakuro. I always liked Hakuro's gimmick and aesthetic. But you know, when you are using Hakuro, you are pretty much leaving your combat zone empty, and that is just all kinds of dangerous. Her SSR is also pretty underwhelmed. She did see some play with Shin, but people prefers using Itsumade because her feather is pretty much free. It saddens me, but I have to put her in Niche. I'm not putting her below Tanuki, that is not happening. I'm not gonna disrespect her like that. Next Shikigami is Kyonshi Ototo. I think out of all the Kyonshi, Ototo is the most difficult to use and the payoff is not worth the trouble. Yes, we did have some very gimmicky Ototo Mitsume OTK team, but that is very inconsistent and you can't even put him in fragile aggro team because they already got a better attacker. Sorry, but I will have to put him in the trash. But he is one of the better trash Shikigami. Next is Yuki Onna and Yuki Doji. Yes, his full name is Yuki Doji, not just Yuki, in case you didn't know. Yuki Onna still sees plays in dedicated stun build, focusing on stacking snowballs and using grapple to OTK your opponent. It's a pretty easy win condition to achieve, but it's still a low damage control deck, while Yuki Doji sees more play because of his powerful combat card, mainly the level 1 combat card that lets you stun the opponent player. This is a very great card for aggro deck because it lets you attack freely for 1 extra turns. So I will put Yuki Onna in It's Alright and Yuki Doji in Consistently Strong. Now, Yotohime here has managed to slip in and out of the meta. She is still a very strong Shikigami with tons of combat card, and her passive let her spam those very easily. Her form is arguably one of the scariest in the game because a Shikigami with double strike and tons of combat card is not something that you can take lightly. But her only downside is that she runs out of ammo very quick, and she is basically a Shikigami with no effect if you don't have any of her combat card. She will still see play no matter what because her kit is very simple, so with that in mind, I will put her in Consistently Strong. I cannot put her higher because of her downside. Next is, Maestro, what shall we do to you? In a countdown focus deck, he is pretty good and he got one of the most dangerous trigger card that negates any card, but his countdown is just too long. But he is flexible enough that I've seen him in Bukuman OTK build alongside with Kusa, but now that Kusa has been fucking destroyed, I don't see that happening anymore, so I will put him in Niche. You know, most of the old Shikigami belongs in Niche. Let's see, Ichimokuren, yeah, he is bottom niche. Tsumade, she is mid. And Chen, oh god, I hate how they murdered your revolt, but I cannot put you in niche. That would be too much disrespect. I will put you in the bottom of It's Alright. If they didn't nerf you, I would put you higher. For Kusa, she is a weird one. She was niche, then for some reason got nerfed, then buffed again, and then buffed again. But that still doesn't make her any better than what she started. So for now, I think I will put her behind Ichimokuren because I don't think she will see play anytime soon. Next is Zashiki. She still see play in almost any luck check build because she is one of the most consistent luck check generator. Just slap a form on her and watch her do her stuff. And her level 2 card can give you 2 free orbs to extend your play, but she is still a luck Shikigami, so I can't really give her a high place. I will put her at the very top of niche. Now we have Samurai X. This is a very nostalgic Shikigami. Almost everyone knew will always try to use him, but then realize that he can't really do anything by himself and really needs heavy support from other Shikigami. The only situation I've seen him shine is in Tenjo build, but that meme takes so much setup and it's not even funny. I would argue that he see less play than Kusa, so I will put him below Kusa. Then we have Yoko, the old menace. A few expansions ago you could see him in a spell slinger deck, mainly because of his level 3 evolve ability, letting him just spam 2 damage or 4 damage projectile depending on your buffs every time you activate a spell or land your luck check. Nowadays he is just too slow and his low health doesn't really help, so I will have to put him between Kusa and Ichimukuren. Now, Karasu Tengu is a great Shikigami. He is very versatile with his kit. He can stun, he can tank, he can deal quite the damage by himself, and he can even make your other Shikigami attack if they are in the combat zone. Overall, he's a very solid Shikigami and I can comfortably put him above Yukidoji. Then we have Shiranui. Shiranui is also another solid one. You mostly bring her for her passive. Sure, her cards are pretty useful, but a free rally every turn is much more attractive. She's a staple in almost any red Shikigami build, so I will have to put her at least in the same tier as Karasu Tengu. Then we have Shishio, the very definition of one-hit wonder. People only care for his antler gore, that's it. Sure, sometimes you will see someone bringing him just for his card that grants Veil, but most of the time you just want antler gore. Other than that one card, he is very meh. He definitely belongs in niche, but I'm struggling whether to put him above or below Kengaku. Maybe above, just for the antler gore. Then we have Enenra. Enenra is another victim of the power creep. She literally cannot do anything without her spells, and sure, her spells might be powerful, but after that one use, she just sits there doing absolutely nothing. Nowadays, I would say she is worse than Yoko. Shout out to Hyoribo for carrying the whole charge gimmick by herself. She practically does everything. She boosts charge, she draws, she buffs, she extends, she stuns, and her level 3 form heals is one of the most broken heal form in the game because she heals every end phase including your opponent's end phase, and if your other Shikigami gets damaged, Hyoribo will heal herself, making her almost immortal unless you one-shot. I cannot put her higher than Jin. The reason she sees little play is that Charge Shikigami is not in a good place. If they actually give proper buffs to Charge, I would bet we would see more of her. Then we have Kamaitachi. Kamaitachi is actually a pretty hard hitter. The charge gimmick just slows him down a bit. His SSR is basically Oitsukigami form on steroids, but it requires a lot more setup than her form. That's why you rarely see it. I think I'll put him below Juzu, mainly because Juzu just recycles her card and has higher base stats. Then we have Vampira. Vampira was a joke when they first released her, but when they released Ashura, she started seeing more plays, and she now even sees play in deck that can heal a lot like Aobozu. Her cards are very cheap, which also helps a lot, so I will put her in the same tier as Suzuhime. Next Shikigami is Takayasha Hime. For the longest time, people preferred using Kujira because he is tankier, but when Kurumi got released, all of a sudden Takayasha Hime sees so much more play. Why? Because Kurumi brings a lot of fields that you can stack on top of the normal Kaguya and Sasabi field, and with her evolved passive and her SSR, just makes her a very consistent and very powerful attacker. I would be very comfortable putting her above Kyohime. Trash. No explanation needed. Kaguya and Sasabi is staple in almost any field build, so I'll put them above Takayasha Hime. Hikanbana is a high risk, high reward Shikigami, and most of the time she is hard paired with Ashura. Other than that, you don't really see her anywhere else. She has good passive and decent cards, but I cannot put her above It's Alright because she is very fragile. Maybe I'll put her below Jin. Let me know if you don't agree. Then we have Kujira. Kujira cards is actually pretty similar to Takayasha Hime in terms of they need you to stack fields, but his basic ability also needs you to have shields for him to gain attack. And his evolve being level 3 slows him down pretty bad. He's still able to deal a decent amount of damage, but Takayasha does his job better. His SSR is pretty broken though, making you almost immortal until the opponent destroys the field. And if you stack your field, you are pretty much immortal unless they have Gaki. I would put him above Kamaitachi. I think Yamakaze is in the same tier as Maestro. I mean, yes, he can deal quite a bit of damage, but he really needs Maestro to fully utilize his SSR, and you need to be running him in a full countdown build to actually make him deal consistent damage. Next Shikigami is MOBA. Now MOBA has seen a steady rise in popularity, at least in global, because how much easier it is to completely delete your opponent's deck because newer Shikigami has so much draw power. MOBA delete just makes them even more vulnerable to deck out. And she even see play in some crazy Bukuman self-deck out build using her level 1 form. Overall, I think she is great, but she can be even better in the future, so for now I will put her just above Miyu. Now, Tenjo Kudari on the other hand has always been a Shikigami that is used in meme decks. She plays a really late game, but once you got your setup, it will be an uphill battle to try and win against her. But that is a big if, because you really need to set up like 8 different things before she can actually pop off. I really wanted her to be good, but her cards are so painfully slow, I cannot put her higher than Kusa. Next Shikigami is Jimenju. Jimenju is another victim of power creep. Back in the old days, people would use him to stall. Nowadays, you got better and more powerful options like Senhime. Yes, he can still be a pretty reliable tank and he got some pretty unique removal options, but he can't really deal damage until you evolve him or get that specific spell that says you can use your Shikigami health as attack points. So I will just put him above Enenra. Next Shikigami is Kyonshiani. I can confidently say without a single doubt, this is a meme Shikigami. He has the highest base stat out of all Shikigami in the game, but that's about it. There's nothing redeemable about him other than he has a lot of revive cards. His basic ability is really bad. Not only you can only attack after 2 turns, it also stuns him for 2 turns, making him a dead weight. But recently we have more and more Shikigami that can force other Shikigami to attack like Chocho, Kagewani, Karasutengu, and Otakemaru. So he still sees some play and is a considerable threat if you can't remove him. I see him more often than Tenjo Kudari and Kusa, so I will have to put him just below Jumenju. Next Shikigami is Otengu. Otengu got some considerable buffs for the last few months and I would say he is pretty damn powerful, but even after the buffs he doesn't really see any play. If I had to guess the reason, it is because he is very predictable. You can easily play around his projectiles and his low health makes him a very easy snipe target. But his Feather Blade Storm is still really powerful and annoying, especially after you already evolve him. I would put him in consistently strong, but because he doesn't see any play, I cannot put him higher than Amezaigu. Next we have Mitsume. Mitsume is slept on. He can be one of the nuttiest Shikigami because his evolve has so much utility, it even has an instant win ability, but he is still a quest Shikigami. That means you have to jump over hurdles to make him actually do stuff. I still like to use him from time to time. I cannot put him higher than Niche. Next is Kaoru. Kaoru has seen some considerable rise in popularity because a lot of Shikigami in the current meta has a lot of 1 damage projectile passive, and her passive pretty much negates those. I always thought she was a neat Shikigami because she has a lot of nice utility forms, and I am glad she finally got the attention she deserves. I would definitely put her above Yamausagi in consistently strong. And how the mighty have fallen. I used to love using Yumekui, but he isn't viable in the current meta because he is really slow and very vulnerable. Once you remove his field, he becomes pretty much useless. Sure, his SSR can delete your opponent's nightmare inflicted cards, but you still need to build up enough nightmare for it to matter. In the past, I would give him high rating, but he just got power crap so bad I cannot even put him it's alright. But I can at least put him on top of Enenra. Then we have Miketsu. Oh man. Till this day I still don't have her SSR. I wanted it so bad, but I don't want to open Slice of the Sea pack. She actually has some killer cards, but Charge is not exactly in the best place right now, so she is kinda dragged down by it. I would honestly like to see Charge get the support it deserves, but for now she have to stay in It's Alright. Then we have Otakemaru. Otakemaru, like Kaoru, has seen a rise of popularity, I think mainly thanks to Chocho just enabling all kinds of shenanigans. Otakemaru is actually not bad, but he doesn't do a lot by himself. His main gimmick is using his Magatama to either gain attack immunity or force other Shikigami to attack. And his SSR only gives an attack boost every time a Shikigami with Magatama kills other Shikigami. That is kind of underwhelming. But I wouldn't put him in niche because he can carry his own weight and his combat card is actually pretty decent. I think I'll put him just above Higanbana. Now, here is my boy Onikiri, my favorite boy back in the day. Yes, he still sees some play here and there, but he's kind of falling out of favor. Mainly because there's a lot of Shikigami that deals passive projectiles, and that is the bane of his existence. I would love in the future if you can see him shine again, but for now, I will have to put him in consistently strong just above Yukidoji. This is personal bias, by the way. Then we have Kodokushi. Kodokushi is a meme Shikigami, no way around it. He literally does one thing and one thing only, and he does that thing badly. Definitely belongs to garbage. Garbage. I don't need to explain why. I wanted to like him, but I can't. Next Shikigami is Dodomeki. Dodomeki has always been annoying ever since he got released. At first, people were stalling to use her SSR, but with the arrival of Baize, people shifted from stall into projectile spam fest, and it's clearly consistent. Houga used to be called the queen of projectiles, but now I think Dodomeki can take over that title because how consistent she is, and even if you didn't play Divination or Curse, you can even play around using her Blazing Pupil spam and you could steal some wins with it. I don't want to admit it, but she deserves the top spot for now. Next is Oitsukigami. Oitsukigami has been seeing play here and there. She's mainly present in Enma deck because her level 2 form allows you to double attack in one turn. But aside from that, she is actually a pretty good support Shikigami. Her SSR is gimmicky, but her other cards can definitely shift the tides of the battle if timed correctly. I would put her at the same spot as Shiranui. Next is Houga. Houga is another victim of power creep. She used to be really scary, but nowadays she barely sees any play. Sure, her SSR is still very powerful, but her low health makes it easy for the opponent to snipe her and completely shut her down for 2 turns. And if you are building a deck around her, you are pretty much stuck doing nothing, and her main gimmick of projectile is overshadowed by other Shikigami that can do much more than projectile spam. I would have to put her in the same spot as Jin, former queens. Trash. Oh man, Kidomaru. I wanted him to be good so bad. I love his aesthetic, but his gimmick is just terrible, and his card doesn't really help either. Basic ability letting him move cards from the bottom and getting a stats boost when you top deck his card is alright, but his card gaining extra effect only on the turn they are drawn is just terrible. His SSR is pretty good when it was released, but nowadays there are similar cards that does the same thing but easier and better. He is definitely in the niche tier for now. Then we have Hanya. Hanya is a menace from the moment they released him until this day. He didn't get any nerfs or buffs, but for some reason he still sees consistent play no matter what meta it is. The reason is that his combat card is simple and straightforward. His skill also synergizes really well with his combat card, making him an even more dangerous. Hell, his divination can even make a combat focus deck consistent because he fixes your top deck. I hate him, but he earned the top spot. Then we have Enmusubi. If this video was done before they buff her level 2 form, I would just say she was okay. But now she is just crazy. She basically fixes purple deck issue of running out of orb without using extra card to achieve that. On top of that, she also heals, which is very beneficial for stall deck. She is just plain strong now after the buffs. I can count the amount of times I've seen Teso being played in rank with one hand. I think with that statement alone, you can guess how good she is. He's not as bad as Kappa, but he is still really bad. Next is Shiro and Kuromujo. Man, I wish we got the Kimetsu no Yaiba collab. Shiro and Kuro used to be my go-to tanker because he basically have 10 health if you have at least 2 charge, and his level 3 combat card OTK potential is really good. Nowadays it is so difficult to do that because projectiles. Man, goddamn projectiles sniping everything before they start. Now I think he is in the same tier as Kamaitachi. Now for the faction leaders. They are all pretty much balanced except for Joruri, who got the short end of the stick. Her kit is so random. Sure, she has some really nice cards, but it's all over the place. They cannot decide whether to make her an aggressive beater or luck support. She is very lackluster, but not horrible. I would have to put her below Kagewani. Hitorima has been consistently strong because you can very easily build up his stats, and his form got piercing, which is very important for the super aggressive red deck. His SSR is a win more card, but his other card is very solid. I think the rest of the faction leader can go in consistently strong with Yukihime being on top of them. Then we have Ubume. Ubume on paper sounds pretty damn good. She basically offers you a safe damage dealer because she returns to the standby zone after attacking. But what they forgot is, leaving your combat zone empty is the worst thing you can do in Onmyoji. Her combat cards are actually pretty powerful. I think she has the highest base attack boost on her combat cards. But yeah, she is held down by her super low health stats. But if you can stall until level 3, her evolve is actually terrifying. I would put her at the same place as Hakuro because they have the same problem. Then we have Hitotsume. Hitotsume play rate has considerably plummeted when they nerf his evolve. They didn't mess with his ability, but they reduced the stat boost. Hitotsume was annoying because at level 2, he can consistently deal 5 damage and has high health with very annoying 4. He can still see use in Genkuro stall, but other than that, he doesn't really see any play. I think he is on the same tier as Kagewani. Next is Kyumei Neko. Kyumei Neko is an interesting Shikigami. You basically got an immortal Shikigami until you kill her 5 times. And she is basically the embodiment of Glass Cannon. You mostly want to use her just to clear the combat zone, but after a few expansions, it is getting harder to do that. That's why you barely see her nowadays. And she is probably the noisiest Shikigami in the game. Her voice line is so damn long and loud. I think I will put her just below Hikenbana. Now, this will be my hot take. A lot of people like main Reiki, but I always thought she was very underwhelming. Yes, she does a lot of stuff, but most of those stuff rely on you drawing her SSR. Other than her SSR, her cards are really mid. But she is not horrible by any means. She is just very mid. So I will put her right in the middle of it's alright. Gaki on the other hand has gotten more fun to play as time passes because her cards are getting more and more relevant, but her downside stays the same. That is, you have to rely on your opponent to do something, and that's not gonna work in your favor. I would put her above main Reiki just to piss off some people. I like Gaki more than main Reiki. Oh man, Ashura, you were such a menace when they released you, but now you're not even a shell of your past. They absolutely butchered your cards and basic ability. Don't worry man, I will put you next to your partner in crime because you at least deserve that much. Well, hello there Mr. Bean. Akadame has actually gotten stronger since the release of Kurumi because of her level 2 field heals and gives shield. And Akadame field says that Shikigami with shields gains Veil, which is insane, basically making all of your Shikigami untargetable unless you remove his field, which is usually stacked at the very top, and his cards are all very solid. I will put him next to Vampira, inconsistently strong. Tamamo and Taishakten, I will put them on the same tier, but I would put Taishakten higher because he does so much more. Actually, I will put Orochi next to Tamamo too because Orochi level 1 aggro is still a thing and it's pretty dangerous. And I will put Taishakten next to Genkuro, then Orochi and Tamamo just above Yamausagi. Next we have Kanhime. Kanhime is such a fun Shikigami to play with, but the main problem with her is that her duplication cards put 3 cards into the deck, which reduce your deck consistency. And her using the field is pretty fragile, and because it copies random, it sometimes will clog up your hand. But once you get her going, she will absolutely go off and roll over your opponent. I will put her above Otengu because she has higher burst potential. Next is Umibozu. Umibozu is also a meme unit frequently used along with Samurai Egg. Not many of you know this, but his evolve combined with his level 3 form is actually really fucking scary. One turn, his team has to attack. Next turn, they suddenly got 12. It's insane how he can make one team go from 0 to 100 that fast. But you still need to stall and keep your other Shikigami alive to fully utilize him. So he definitely belongs in the same row as Tenjo and Samurai X. Then we have Odokuro. Odokuro on release pretty much replaced Jimenju as your go-to tanker because he is more aggressive and he can revive faster than Jimenju. And his SSR is one of those slow burn cards. The longer you leave it, the worse it will be for your opponent. He did got nerfed one time. They just removed the shield boost from his level 3 combat card and that almost instantly kill him. He still sees some plays here and there, but he definitely not as explosive as before the nerf. I will put him just above Amezaiku. Then we have Kingyo. Kingyo is one of the most used transformation Shikigami because of her many utility. But after the nerf to her combat card, she did see a drop in usage, but she still sees quite a lot of play. It's just that she needs a bit longer to get back to her original power. I would put her at the very top of consistently strong. I would put her at the top if she didn't get nerfed. Next Shikigami is Ebisu. I think I went crazy when he was released because I thought, oh man, he is going to make late game deck insane. But it turns out he's just okay. His level up card both has pretty big demerit. The level 1 card also level ups your opponent's Shikigami, which is very risky. The level 2 one only levels up for 1 turn and basically only let you use a non-evolved spell cards, and you cannot use any other type cards. His field is pretty nutty though. That 5-point permanent stats boost is basically game ending. I think he is alright. I will put him just above Kyume Neko. Oh man, I remember just putting Fujihime in basically every deck that focused on one Shikigami like Miketsu or Onigiri. It was absolute carnage because before they nerf her, when a Shikigami has a form attached with Fujihiro, when it dies it only removes the Fujihiro and the form stays. Basically just resetting the form back to full health, which is insane. I am glad they nerfed it. Nowadays Fujihime is just too slow and too vulnerable to be viable. I would put her next to Ebisu. Next is Hana. Hana was field savior before Kurumi because of her level 1 snipe and draw card. But once they nerfed that, field basically went back into rogue deck and Hana just disappeared. The downside of Hana is that you need to maintain her fields and all of her cards use up all of her field, effectively destroying it, and you have to build it all over again. Her cards are still very powerful, but she definitely lacking in some places. I'll put her just above Maestro in niche because she can still carry her own weight. Next Shikigami is Enma. She is probably my second favorite among the fusion Shikigami. I would argue she is basically what they are trying to do with Ubume, a safe attacker with high burst potential. Her cards are actually pretty decent, but her forms are just bad, except for the level 3 one. Why would you want your ghost to have Veil when you can just steamroll your opponent? She definitely needs a bit of setup to get going, and her low health makes her an easy snipe target, so I cannot put her above It's Alright. Next is Puppeteer. If this game have Exodia, this Shikigami would be it. I only managed to pull it off a few times and it was very satisfying. But if you don't want to play the Exodia version, you can just use her as it is and she is plenty powerful with decently high stats. But she is still a gimmicky Shikigami, so she cannot pass the niche barrier. But I'm definitely putting her above Inugami. Next Shikigami is Furi. Furi is another glass cannon Shikigami. He can deal a lot of damage. If you poke him, he dies. He is so much fun to use. His rapid attacks with the clone is actually nuts. Just don't use his SSR. It sucks. It basically ruins all synergy with his cards. I think he is on par with Sparrow because he can carry your whole team damage by himself. Now, Kohaku on the other hand is just a bag of disappointment. His concept being a counter tank is great and all, but his execution of his card is just horrible. Like if his main gimmick is countering Shikigami that has higher attack than him, why the hell would you give him a stats boost on his evolve? That doesn't make sense. His only good card is his level 1 anti-projectile form and level 3 AoE spell. That's about it. I would put him below Samurai X honestly. I would put him higher if he wasn't so lackluster. We have a little bit more to go. When Kanko was firstly released, in the trailer everyone went, holy shit, how the hell did he do 15 plus damage AoE? Then people found out it's gimmicky as fuck. But he was powerful regardless because his level 1 used to have fast and rebound. That made him able to close out the game on level 2, which was nuts. And his passive just makes combat zone clearing very easy. But the nerf really hit him bad and he is just too slow now. I will put him in the middle of Yamakaze and Maestro. Satori is another fun to use Shikigami. Her gimmick lets you take a peek at the opponent's hand and her forms and combat card punish your opponent for using set card. She has a really powerful trigger card that can insta-kill any Shikigami that deals damage to you, which is very handy. But yeah, her main gimmick ultimately drags her down. I would put her behind Hangan in niche. Next we have Nokanshi. Nokanshi is my number 1 favorite Shikigami, mainly for lore reason. His whole gimmick is nice, and even after getting nerfed 3 times he still sees some plays consistently. But he definitely needs other Shikigami to help maximize his damage output, so I would put him just behind Kyohime. Next is Matsu. Matsu is one of those Shikigami when you look at his ability on paper seems amazing, but in practice, he is just a mess. You need to constantly use 2 of his cards just to trigger his basic ability. He did see some play in stun build, mainly using his field, but after the nerf, he pretty much became useless. It's sad, but I would put him just above Matsu. I really want to like him. Next is Ungaikyo. Ungaikyo, out of all Link Shikigami, I think he's the only one that still see active use, mainly because to activate his Link skill, the condition is very simple. You just need to activate his card and boom, you'll link it. And out of all Link Shikigami, he is the fastest, the one that deals most damage. So I think he at least deserves inconsistently strong. I'll put him above Tamamo because he kind of see less play nowadays. Next is Kisei. Man, I wanted Kisei to be good, but all he does is just cycle through your cards and potentially draw your key pieces. Sure, his SSR is basically Destiny Draw, but other than that, his cards are very mid. His level 1 card is fun to play though, but I still cannot put him above Niche, so I'll just put him behind Kengaku. I will rate Shiro and Kurodoji together because they have to be put in the same team to work. They are actually really fun to use, but you are pretty much locked to purple or red deck, which is very awkward combination. Usually red Shikigami pairs the best with green because of their similar rush playstyle. Sure, you can use them by themselves, but you are missing a lot of extra effects of their cards, and their forms become pretty much useless because they only gain effects if linked. I would have to put them below Kisei because Kisei sees more played in. Next is Ryomen. I love Ryomen aesthetic, but his gimmick actually makes him pretty hard to use because his card is divided into 2 types, Thunder and Wind card. They get extra effect when linked. He is basically a one Shikigami Shiro and Kurodoji. His evolve does fix this problem, thankfully. He does see play from time to time in some niche aggro red build. I would put him at the same tier as Kumineko because he shows up when you least expect it. Next is Hako Shoujo. Hako Shoujo is an interesting charge Shikigami because she relies on luck check to speed up her charge. I think she is almost in the right direction for future charge Shikigami. They just need to tweak it a little bit. Her downside is that her burst needs you to have 10 charge to activate, but the payoff is worth it. And her SSR just gives 10 damage piercing nuke if you have 10 charge. She is not bad, but they can still improve her. She sees little play, sadly. I cannot put her higher than Hazashi. Next, we have the fluffiest tail of all Shinkiro. Komatsumaru. Man, she pretty much fixed all luck Shikigami problem. That is survivability. She can revive, she can tank, she can snipe, she can draw, and many more. She is the jack of all trades for green Shikigami. I love her. Her SSR is a bit gimmicky sadly, but most people bring her for her level 2 form anyway, because it is a fast card that draws and puts a body in the combat zone, and it even recycles itself after 2 turns. I would put her in the same tier as Yamosagi. Next is Kyonchi Imoto. She is probably one of the most expensive Shikigami in the game because you actually have to save up about 280,000 gold to actually buy and use her, and you cannot reduce her card. She is honestly really good, decent, but you have to actually put some effort to actually getting her. And I think that's where most people stop because they don't know if she's actually good or if they are gonna like her. So I'm gonna say it here. If they did not nerf her evolve, I would very confidently put her at the same tier as Kyuhime because of her burst potential is insane. But the nerf hurts her quite a bit, so I will put her at the same tier as Enma. And finally, we have reached the last Shikigami, Shuten Doji. I think he's been the face of Onmyoji for a long time. I definitely like Shuten. He is a very simple and powerful Shikigami, and after evolve he just steamrolls everyone if you can keep him alive. I think he sees little play nowadays because there are other Shikigami that can deal more damage mid-game than him and does a lot more than hit hard. So yes, he is a victim of power creep. But when you see him in rank, just be careful because Shuten players will hit you when you least expect it. I will have to put him on the top of It's Alright. And there we go, all 130 Shikigami ranked. You finally reached the end of video. Thank you very much for listening to me rambling about 1 hour, maybe more. I was planning to do this earlier, but I just didn't have the time. I really hope you enjoyed this video. This is my personal opinion of the Shikigami. Sure, there will be some biased opinion and ranking because I like a certain Shikigami more than the other. But hey, this is my list. If you don't agree, let me know down in the comments. Anyway, if you want to support me, here's my Patreon and Ko-Fi links down in the description. Thank you for watching and see you on the next video. Bye!